Wait, is that what you just said? I believe Evelyn Warner said groceries can wait. Hello, everybody. My name is Leslie Ohnstad. I am the creator of Color Art Products. I'm your host of ColorPlay Live, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and at 9 a.m. on Saturdays. Yay. So I'm a little bit early. I took a really long while to figure out how I was going to reset this table up. Oh, great, we got an ad coming in, and I can't see the chat. Let's hope what happened yesterday does not happen again. We had a problem with the feed. Give me 1 minute. Let's hope it resolves itself. Oh, no, suddenly it wants me to install TikTok because it think I TikTok. You know, this is such a pain in the neck. All right, now it's not letting me see the lot, not letting me see the chat. Let's see if this resolves itself. That's another reason to come on a couple minutes early. I know you guys are there, I saw you. But let me get out of it and jump back in and see if it lets me back in. Because it's no good if I can't talk to you. I saw everybody before the TikTok ad came on. Hey, Audra, I see you on my phone, but I don't see you on the tablet yet. Let's see if it lets me in. There we are. Sally Dalton just joined. And Evelyn says she hates commercials. I do get to see what you guys are saying. Okay, let's get this thing back. Cradle. So it seemed that for a couple weeks, and by the way, Jasmine is with me. She says, good morning. She's been getting curious about the table. She was actually there on the table, which freaked me out, but she's a good girl and she's sitting back there watching me. So good girl. So hi, everybody. So I went for a period of acrylic for 2 weeks, and now I seem to be in an epoxy mode. I think I was trying to master getting that blow dryer to go for the Dutch pour, and believe it or not, the resin, blowing that resin yesterday was so fulfilling. Okay, couple little things. I want to talk about some droplets that I saw. I mean, everybody commented on the droplets from yesterday's piece. So let's flip this camera over. I want to show you some stuff that I did pull off. You can't wait. Who's saying that? She's playing with toys. Toys. Okay, so people commented about the skins, and yeah, where there was some, I mean, these are too beautiful to throw away, right? Can't that be trimmed or fussy cut? If you know what I mean by fussy cut, they're sharp little scissors that seamstresses use to cut them up, right? You could cut these up into all kinds of shapes. It's not like a regular paint skin. Eventually this will be too stiff. But gosh, these are beautiful tiles. Yeah. Now this is like them all rolling in a river. This is not quite as an interesting color combination as these were, right? This one's beautiful. I'm loving what that silicone did, but here's the strangest thing. The tiles are smooth. I don't know why the silicone's not doing that. Okay, here's the droplets. Everybody was talking about droplets. Yes, here's the jewelry and earrings. And I don't know if I can get this on my hand so you can see this. I collected a whole pile of some of the most beautiful droplets coming off of these things. Again, the camera's not going to show it nearly as pretty as it is, but they look like little gemstones. Okay, the purpose of me showing you these was something else. I've been trying to figure out how to duplicate the look of that iridescent film that people put under epoxy and it gives an opal effect. Look how thin this came out. This is like paper. It's flimsy like paper. And it's got a little color on it. And I'm wondering, you're going to think I'm nuts, if I could somehow smash it thin enough and then lay it in under stuff and create like a dichroic glass effect. Exactly. Create my own dichroic film. This is resin though, Evelyn. Exactly. Can we duplicate what we see on the dichroic film ourselves? But it would have to, and here's another one. Here's another little itty bitty one that, I mean, it just looked, it was the perfect coloring to stick in there to get that opal effect. I don't know if it can happen, but say yes, say yes, say yes. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Good morning. K-R-A-M, Carmarie. Oh boy, I hope I said that right. Carmarie, welcome. You're a new face for us. I mean, this actually looks like a gemstone, right? And see if I can get this in the camera just right. It looks like a piece of opal, right? What have you been doing? Been sitting at the thumbnail, waiting and waiting. Well, sometimes I start a little bit early. Miss Fairy Art Mother's in the room. She's come to play. Okay, I've got to show and tell some stuff. Now, actually, I'm glad Fairy Art Mother's here. Many of you may not have been here when I did this piece. I'm not exactly blown away by the composition or the colors, but do you remember me creating these big opal drops and they look like skin cells, right? Carmen, okay. Carmen, thank you, Carmen. Now I can say her name because this is Carm and then Re. But don't, and someone looked at these and of course they do look like skin cells. And when I went to my skin doctor's office, he's got things on the wall, so I have this. But after Fairy and Art Mother and I talked, you know, it'd be cool to somehow colorize this some kind of solid color, like all black, all blue, all turquoise or something. So these could really pop. But I had this hidden behind something and I dropped something near it today. And I never showed you guys the dried effect of putting all those interferences on top of each other. I thought that was fun. Okay. Here are yesterday's pieces. Now, here's the most incredible thing I cannot explain. There is no pitting. Now, there's one section here, and I knew when, as soon as I got the paint on, that I didn't have enough blue moon here, and I saw this white mark as I logged off, but I already had it up and a little bit over here. But if you look at this thing, it is smooth as glass. There's absolutely no pitting from the epoxy. I even put alcohol on top of this and wipe this, wash this. Now, it is extra, 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 extra sparkly. That's exactly what I was thinking, Judy. It's possible because I did this on tile. And Kathy Lane was working on tile when she was using the silicone and the resin. That Resi Blast, all that Resi Blast is a very high quality epoxy, okay? Now I did a second one. Now, if you look at those veins went up and they kind of, somebody said, call this Under the Sea. God, I'm in love with what, and I put the silicone only in the gold. So all those patterns that came through the silicone, they picked it up from the gold. What resin? Art resin. And this is purely pigments. There's a primary element in here. You can watch yesterday's video, but I use art resin and I use the Micro Lube Type 200 silicone oil, 100% silicone oil, and it does matter that it has a 50 CST viscosity. And the only way I know this is because after Resi Blast was launched, I actually called a silicone company and was shocked at how many different kinds of silicones are out there. Some of them are for $500 a gallon. I mean, there's different grades. And so the viscosity is a telltale. Now, here's the second one. I chose to use some warmer colors on the bottom, right? And slightly different. I know you're probably going to think they're a little bit alike. I'm enjoying the patterns in this one, how we got that veining up there, right? I'm really loving it. Hey, Rhonda, how you doing, honey? Blind Awakening's in the house. But this came out really gorgeous too, but all I did was blow these up, okay? So today, my challenge, I have 2 tiles. They're on this spinner, but they're not going to be for spinning, just so I could turn it. They're two tiles side by side. I don't know what the technical term is for a two-part triptych, but I'm gonna try a two-part triptych. So the colors will be laid this way, right? And I'm thinking this time, because this part was so dark and some of the colors got lost up in the dark, I want to do a, I love blue moon and sapphire. I'm gonna go some interference with a little bit of fluorescent purple kind of down here, a little bit of clear on the bottom. And then side by side, I'm gonna do some puddles and try to swipe or blow and see what kind of patterns I can get going upwards with two tiles side by side. I think the diptych, thank you very much. I think these need to be mounted, touched up, and maybe somebody will want one of these. I mean, I'm gathering so much art. I don't know if someone would want one of these, but yeah. And the way Kathy Lane mounted her tiles, I'd really love to duplicate that. She does this texture MDF board, and it really makes her tile mounting look very, very, very elegant. Okay, but to get to where we want to be, we got some mixing to do, okay? So I have my epoxy mixed up. Oh my God, one more time. I just have to show you guys how cute she is. And yes, Jasmine is still on the back of chair hanging with me as I'm going back and forth, getting the resin. She's just a great companion. That doesn't mean she wasn't on the table when I was trying to set up and had to shoot her off. Okay, so let's get going, girls and boys, because we got a lot of color mixing to do. So one of their first colors, God, I hope I have enough room to actually mix in front of you guys. When we put the spinner here, it takes up a lot of table space. And I think I'm as far back as I can afford to get. So, okay, yeah, she's a sweet girl. First thing we're gonna do is a color called Harvest Moon. Now, this is a primary element. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to turn a primary element into something that can go into epoxy. This is not a mica powder. This is ground dry color. And by the way, color in its purest form is dry. It's the companies that suspend it in the liquid that make it a liquid. So color begins in a dry state. And we take dry color, minerals in mica, blend them together. This is called Harvest Moon. It looks like a gold powder. But as soon as we dissolve this sucker, you're gonna see just how gorgeous it is. Now, it's an estimate 2 to 1, 2 pigments, 1 part of the art fluid. The goal is just to turn the pigment into a paste. You do not want a whole bunch of liquid going into your epoxy, right? So even though this is more than we need, it's a teaspoon, and I put, what did I put in here? A 1/4 teaspoon. I'm still gonna use this so I don't go accidentally put too much in there. Try to go about 1/3 of that. That's plenty. That's more than enough. All we need is just enough to kind of muddle it into a roux, just like you're making gravy, right? Now see, that doesn't look anything like that gold powder. Had you put that gold powder directly in the resin, it would have stayed this color. And someday I'll waste some resin for you and guys show you. I've done it on camera before, but I think every once in a while people need to realize primary elements are not designed to go directly into resin. They need to be pre-dissolved first, and Vivid Art Fluid is recommended because there's no thickener in this. If you try to use regular acrylic, your time can be shortened because there's a thickener in the acrylic paint that you're using. There's nothing you can do about that. So let's add a little bit of a epoxy to this little puppy. Yeah, we're gonna do a different, slightly different color combination today. Now do you see Harvest Moon? Let's see how close we can get to here so you can see this under the light. This is just an extraordinary color. But just to make it a little bit more fun, because I can't help myself and add a little bit of bling, you know what? I'm going to add a little sparkle red and a little sparkle gold to it because I can, and they're both already up here. So let's add a pinch of some sparkle red to this. It's really going to make that bounce right off the, whoop, color's going to be bright. And a little bit of this sparkle gold. And it glitters like diamonds. Now, these are both interferences. They're just different particulate sizes. And I know I do this almost every video, but we always have new people in the room. So when you're looking at the blinget line and you're looking at the interferences, you're going to want to see that interference fine. Interference fine. Wow, this may be interference red accidentally. See how it's an ultra fine and it's shifting the way you see the color before you see the black underneath it, right? But this sparkle gold, whew, because the flakes are bigger. They're both considered interference. This is an interference coating also, but it's a larger flake, okay? And then there's also such a thing as a diamond, which is even larger, okay? So there's our little lesson on the blingets, interferences. That is adding all the flash and sparkle. And we use multiple minerals. We are not just using mica. There are plenty of other minerals on the market beyond mica right now. Wow, I tell you what, that harvest moon turned really dark in the epoxy. It's a little bit different than when you're playing with the acrylic, but it's a little dark for me, but we'll see what we can do with it. It's certainly a pretty orange, okay? All right, next color we're gonna make, we do need to have a gold. This is the one that's gonna have the silicone in it. But one fun fact about gold paint, most people don't realize it. Think of the deco art gold that everybody's using, right? Or some of those golden colors or Rust-Oleum colors. The reason why those paints that look like they're just a gold or copper or bronze hold up so well versus when you just mix gold, mica, or minerals with a base is because they're actually putting a little bit of color in it. So they're taking the creative license. 24 karat gold isn't just mica. There's actually color in there. So I'm going to do the same thing. Even though I'm going to make a gold, I'm going to add a little color to this thing. And I've got two different particulates. This is the golden maple, which is a larger particulate. Uh-oh, I have two cats on the back of my chair, and they just fought. Okay, you're not going to believe this. I have to do this. Oh, come on, my camera just freaked out. Harley just kicked her off. He is getting jealous and wanted the back of the chair. But the thing is, I don't trust him to stay there. Okay, he's already getting nosy. Now, if he lays down and stays there, I'm okay. But this is risky, having him here. Let's hope nothing weird happens in our broadcast. This other gold is a finer gold. And I believe it's our Egyptian gold on the website. You see how it's a finer gold mica. Now I'm going to use a lot of gold, so I need to remember what kind of surface I'm trying to cover. Here I'm showing you just a little bit, but I'm going to make up quite a bit of the gold because we got two tiles that we're working on here. Now, I'm going to add some color. I'm going to get the resin in her first. Now, the regular minerals are not prepped for epoxy. So when you stir them, you need to be very careful or that. Sorry, guys, it looks like we just buffered. Okay. Don't know why, because my phone has plenty of juice, lots of battery power. Don't know what happened there. It could have been a YouTube thing. So I am back if you had a little buffering. So this is what I was trying to tell you is the mica will poof up as soon as we stir this. But I'm going to add a little bit of the bit of honey, the color in set number 3. There should be start shipping a week from yesterday, a week from today. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put 6 drops of bit of honey in there. And 1 drop of the Aztec Gold. Just 1. That's it. Just to warm it up a bit. Okay. Now, again, I can't help myself. I got to beef these colors up the best I can, right? So let's add a little flash to it. Let's add a little sparkle of red or gold, shall we? That'll make it really interesting. When it's flowing around, you're going to see all colors of the rainbow. Now, this one I got to be really careful stirring because there is, on the resin art, the mica is conditioned with a wetting agent, and so it helps the mica dissolve, or it just slips right into the resin, really dissolve. It slips in beautifully. Oh my God, look at the red in there. Oh, I can see that red. This is going to be a pretty, pretty gold. Now, this is the color that I used the silicone in yesterday. How I did it. I'm going to take the flat end of my skewer and just, it's pretty generous. 1, 2, 3. Few more, a couple more drops when that time. A couple more drops that time. I'd say there's at least 5 or 6, 7 hefty drops in there. Someone might sit there and tell me it's overkill. It may be. It's the only color with the silicone in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a single stir. That's it. I'm not going to beat it up. I just want to stir it up. The less you stir up any color, I don't care if it's acrylic or epoxy, the less you stir up a color that has silicone in it, the larger your cells. So there's a little tip for you guys on that. Guys, it turned out to be a really pretty color. I'm happy with that one. Okay, so we've got, again, I'm a little worried. This looks way too dark. This almost looks like a red. That does not look like that does not look like Harvest Moon. I need more of an orange. Let's see if we can add some electric orange to this. Again, this is getting darker and darker, almost like a rusted red. And I needed more of a Harvest Moon bright orange. It's one of my favorite colors, but colors change in epoxy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if 4 electric oranges brings back my orange. Either that or slight change of plan here, if I can find it. There is a color called Fennel Flower Ginger Peach. It's possible that because they're getting darker when they're in the epoxy, if I mix Ginger Peach, it may turn the color that I'm expecting out of the Harvest Moon. So I'm going to just take a slight segue here again. I'm taking creative license. This is looking a little bit dark for my palette that I've got back there. It may or may not work. I'll use a little bit of it. This is gold, so I don't need gold, but I can't need kind of in the middle. You know, that bright orange. So let's go back to the drawing board again. Let's see what Ginger Peach does for us. Ginger Peach is considered, it looks very orange on the website, but it's actually one of the darkest yellows we make with just a tiny bit of red in it to get to that orange. Oh my God, we have actually somebody on my table because she was booted off. Jasmine, you cannot be up there. Off. Off. Good girl. Good girl. Whew. That was cool. Disaster averted. Sorry, my children are trying to get in on the game today here. More vivid art fluid. Some of it dumped on the table. Oh, well. That was nerve-wracking having her walk right as you guys couldn't see her, but her little foot was right there. I mean, she was right there. Normally, she's the one on the back of my chair and Harley's running around like a madman. You see how much lighter this color is? But let's see what happens when the epoxy hits it. Because the color base is designed for acrylic, it will bead into resin, but is not necessarily dissolvable in the epoxy. It will just bead in and get, here we go. Sherry's, I know, at an appointment today, but she's gonna like this. This is the orange I was looking for. Yes, indeedy. Whew, there's the color. So next time I know when I need a Harvest Moon orange, I'm gonna grab Ginger Peach when I need that for my epoxy, because it wants to go quite dark. I'm gonna add a tiny pinch of this Sparkle Red just to get a little bounce back into our color here. So we got some sparkle happening everywhere. Wow, that's crazy. And it is darker in the epoxy. Look at the difference between them. This one looks a little bit redder. This one looks a little bit oranger. It's crazy what the epoxy can do and how it affects the water-soluble color base in resin. So I can live with this. I know that Michelle plays a lot with Venetian red and stuff, and I'm sure it goes really like a luscious dark color for you in the epoxy, Michelle. But in regular primary elements, like a regular acrylic, it's not going to be that deep, right? Okay, let's get, we got Peribelle Blue. This is in the new set. It's like a really pretty periwinkle color. I could have put in the yellow. I know I put in that orange. You're Audra, you might be right. But remember, we're dealing with how epoxy wants to work with water-soluble color too. It's not that simple, and you're probably right. Yellow might have helped. I think I'm at about 5 drops of this periwinkle color. I reset up all my Purely Pigment bottles today and gave them all homes. I feel so better. My children have a home. Okay, let's get some Interference Blue. And get some Sparkle Blue. And I'm going to do the same thing to the Cyan Aqua. I know I'm using this color a lot. I am in love with that color. So my goal is to, like I said, put a light interference with some of the Vivid Intense fluorescent periwinkle in there. Then I'm gonna blow up the Peribelle and the cyan first over the purple. And then we'll be blowing up the Dancing Fuchsia, the orange and the gold up into the turquoise and the Peribelle. If it works how I'm imagining that, that's what the goal is. And I think I need a little more epoxy on this one. We're already running out of what's in this cup. Judy, I think you missed me showing and telling the pieces from yesterday, so I will show you at the end again because I know you're here. I just want to make sure I have enough because I keep trying to remember we're doing 2 tiles here. 2 tiles at once. We're going to do a diptych. A diptych. Here's the Cyan Aqua. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's get some of this Sparkle Blue and the Interference Blue. Give it a little bit of bling bling. And this Peribel, it's going to give you the most beautiful periwinkle blue. Again, be very careful stirring out mica in the epoxy. There's nothing to keep it from poofing out. But look at that color. I am in love with that color. Hey, Terry, how you doing, sweetheart? Who's a stinker? Kathleen McGee just called somebody a stinker. Terry Lechner just came in the room. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, let's get the cyan aqua mixed up. Nah, it's doing beautiful. Those colors are gorgeous. I am most happy with those two colors. Thank you very much. Okay, my chair has dropped and my back is feeling it. Give me a minute. I have this chair that's supposed to raise up. And every once in a while it wants to do the low rider thing. I think what's happening is Jasmine's trying to figure out a way to get on the back of the chair and Harley's there. I can't really change anything right now. We just got to keep rocking and rolling. Next two colors. Hey, let's get some resin in here. We're going to play with the dancing fuchsia and the cotton candy. I know I'm hooked on the cotton candy and cyan aqua. I will eventually get it out of my system. But it's going to complement the purple, that pale purple background so much. What can I say? If I feel like I'm having a little success, I'm going to go back tap out. Now, I almost primed a canvas to do this, and I was either going to do a swipe or like a long botanical type of blow like I did that Dutch porty thing yesterday. But the tiles are for testing. And this is still me kind of testing out this whole technique before I put it on a bigger surface. You know, a cradle board. Cradle boards are, you know, 20, 30 bucks, and these tiles are only $1 a piece. So it's not very expensive to test this out. Hey, Karen, how you doing, honey? Yeah, we're playing with more resin. I'm in a resin mode, it seems, in the past, and this is the fourth day in a row. And I left the setup that way. And we're keep going down this road and keep trying to perfect what we did before. I mean, you know, I don't want to get stuck in a rut, but I also don't want to keep bouncing around so much that we don't sit and kind of hammer out a great technique with what we're doing. Okay. Now, Dancing Fuchsia was the bonus color in set 1. It's still there. It is different in the fact that it's the only color considered a pure color that actually has some interference blue in it. It's an unusual color base. It's a pure rhodamine. It's a one-of-a-kind color all on its own. It got the name Dancing Fuchsia because especially in acrylic, it wants to dance with everything around it. But in epoxy, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can control the Dancing Fuchsia in epoxy, right? So it's a good color to use in the resin. And then here is our cotton candy color. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little more saturation. Get these guys put away. And let's get some, let's see, interference violet. I think I'm going to add some interference violet to my cotton candy. A little bit of some sparkle red. Judy wanted me to use the red in one of those videos. I keep trying to grab red. Make everybody happy. But in the Rhonamine, I'm going to go blue on blue. You're going to be shocked and see how gorgeous. Wait till you see what happens when I put interference blue and sparkle blue in with this dancing fuchsia. It is mind-blowing. Warning in advance, you better have your sunglasses on. Ha 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 ha. And here is some of the beautiful sparkle blue. And just for the fun of it, I have a little diamond, violet diamond. I'm going to add a little pinch of the violet diamond to the one here that's got the blue, add a little pinch into my cotton candy. Why not? It's up here. Might as well play with it. Again, be very careful when stirring and your mic is on top. Be very careful. I want all that stuff to stay in the container and not come out. Here is the dancing fuchsia. Oof, boy, that's a pretty color. And with having that blue shift, it's really gorgeous with the blue shift. I hope everybody's getting a chance to really get a gander of this. And then the cotton candy, of course, is a different shade. Again, stir very slowly because we don't want this mica to poof out of the darn cup. Completely different pink. And really, really stunning. And I can see the red, I can see the violet, see all those colors in there. Okay, now I promised some kind of interference in with my Vivid Intense. And I'm still trying to think about what. I have so much blue over here. My instinct is to maybe do some green and gold. And again, it's going to look white, but let me get some interference gold and some interference green. And I just want enough to add, like, it almost looks like clouds in my violet color. And then, of course, I have to mix up the violet. So let's see how light we can get that violet. This is a little bit bright. I'm hoping to soften it with a bit of the interference flowing back and forth. So we'll see if that's possible. At least that's what I'm imagining now. The whole top has got that purple in it. So I'm going to need quite a bit of these background colors to fill in that top space we're going to blow into. Now, whenever you're working with epoxy, anybody new to this, make sure you have plenty of rubbing alcohol around. I've got a bottle of it. Spray your hands, keep it clean. Have a stack of wet paper towels to keep your tools clean. The only way to really keep this is somewhat under control, because it's epoxy, sticky and messy, is to be as neat as you can along the way. I put stuff back out of the way so I can't accidentally knock it over. I mean, wow, we're on our last little half cup of resin. So let's hope I did this right. Okay, so let's do some interference gold. And I'm just going to put a big mound of it in here. And I can't help myself. I'm such a big sparkle girl. This is going to surprise anybody. The fine interference and the sparkle interference. Thank you very much. Of each. And same thing with the green. We'll do some interference green and some sparkle green. And where is that sparkle green? You know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do interference green, but with some sparkle blue. It'll kind of fit in with the theme of all these colors that have blue. So it'll have a little bit of green, but it'll almost look turquoise back there, which I'm okay with, okay? And then let's get some of the Vivid Intense. Been a while since I used this. Okay, make sure it's shakeable. I think my top might have a little tiny clog in it. This is going to be interesting. I really only want a few drops, or about what equals maybe an eighth of a teaspoon. That's not bad. Let's see what that does. I don't need it too strong. I just need some color. We just need some color. Slightly bigger stick for this. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's really delicate and light. It's almost going to be like a tint. Check that out, you guys. Now remember, the Vivid Intense has like very little saturation compared to the Purely Pigments. I could, wow, that is crazy. Just a little Vivid Intense, and I just made a clear purple tint. That's nuts. I've never actually done that before. I find that an interesting little test there. I'm going to put a little more in, but I can also probably get away with putting like one drop, maybe Snapdragon in. I don't know. I really don't want it dark. I want a pastel lavender background with some interferences flowing through it. At least that's my fantasy. This is really pretty with the interference green and then the sparkle blue because it gives us kind of a blue-green cast. I think I'll try a little bit more of this. Maybe I didn't put enough in there. I just, because this actually has acrylic in it, I'm trying to be mindful of making sure I don't cut down my working time, even though it's a soft body, very soft body acrylic that's in your flute acrylic. I just need a little bit more opacity. I'm going to have to sit this down and mix it. I can't really hold it in the air and mix it and get a good mix on it. Sorry, guys. Got to get this evenly mixed up and in there. Okay, I don't need any Snapdragon. I think this is kind of interesting. Let's see what we get. Now, again, I'm trying to do 2 tiles, so now I'm worried, do I actually have enough resin for this? Because these, I think I can get away with a little bit of clear from here down, but from that up, I've got to have enough resin to cover that whole base. All right, let's see. Get a little bit more epoxy in this one. Sorry, guys, I'm going to move my camera overhead and try to give you the best view possible I can. Let me slip this camera up a little bit for you. Because this is going to end up being a standing project, sadly, for me. Hey, I had knee replacement surgery. I'm doing pretty good, but my body will yell at me if I stand for too long. Yes, Brumster. Now people are commenting that it's epoxy again today. Yes, it is. Just a little. Just a little epoxy. Never hurt anybody. I've just had so much luck with these tiles the last few days, and the silicone oil is mystifying me that it's even working. Okay, so let's see how my evil plan, we want to call it that, will work. So, yeah, wow, I did this backwards. I'm going to have to turn this one more time, sadly. And this is going to be hard because I designed it to only turn it once. Give me a minute. I have this silicone thing folded underneath here. And technically, I was supposed to start with this side and only have to turn it around once. So, okay, so this is the side I have to start with. All right. So let's get, again, I'm going to try to hit both of these. And remember, this camera is only inches away from my face, so bear with me while I do this. All right, let's get some of this interference gold. Passing back and forth. More on one tile than the other. And I don't want any of it going off. And every bit of this interference gold is going down. I know it's risky, guys, what I'm doing, but it's fun. I get to make the mess. You don't have to worry about the mess, right? I think that's the key to this whole thing. Other than my back is yelling at me already. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's get some of this clear in here. I'm loving how transparent that is. And it looks so transparent in the cup, but it's just the right amount of violet for my tile, right? All right, let's get this other interference down. Very viola looking, yeah. Very much viola. So I'm going to try to fill in these spots carefully. Now, I still did not get my heat gun in the mail. I think it's arriving tonight. So I'm going to sit for 1 second, get my torch on, and warm this gently. And I found my bigger tool for swiping color that I couldn't find yesterday. So let's hope I'm doing this right. I'm going to swipe, spread this out. It still feels like it needs more heat. Let's get some more heat on it. I'm not going to do what I did yesterday and spend forever spreading it. I got it heat. I just know from experience, because I burned it before, I really do not want to burn it. Actually, this is the spot. I had a special glove set for this. I'm going to do the other trick and spread it with my hand a little bit. Get an extra glove on, get a little bit warmer. I forgot about this. I had a white glove sitting here ready to do this before I spread it with my thing. Okay. Let's get the rest of this green down before I do this. It really does look like viola. Somebody knows we have a color called viola, whoever that was. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we have a color called viola. Definitely have a color called viola. Just gonna kind of make sure these are muddled. Okay, I'm gonna take my hand and try to do what I've seen Erica do so many times. Take her hand and just kind of spread it. But we're gonna have to get a little more warmth on this, just a bit. And let's see if I can do this bending over like this. I might have to go a little sideways. So guys, bear with me. God, that's beautiful. So I have this extra glove on so I could sit and do this. I don't want to overwork it. I want it to look more. Oh my God, I'm loving that little misty, cloudy section on the top. Wow, that's pretty. My goodness, that's gorgeous. Okay, I have a little clear. I kind of want to just put some clear on the bottom here, so we're going to lubricate this, right? I don't think the tile is warm enough to move it, but I'm going to try to move this with my hand. This is a pretty base. Fairy Art Mother, we know how much you love interferences, honey. Homage to the, oh, I see a little piece of hair in here that's got to come out. That's interesting. Probably one of mine. It's still long hair. Won't come off that edge. My goodness. Okay, here we are. The hair is gone. Okay, so we've got a very light, delicate background. Okay, let's get this off, get my glove off. All right, now the next fantasy I had. Yes! Oh, God, I'm loving it so far. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I'm really loving this so far. Okay, I imagine the first area had the blue and the Peribel blowing up into the purple. And I think I could get away with puddles this time. I think that I can blow up. I could be completely wrong, and I think I put those first ones a little bit too low. And I'm going to put I know the Peribel blue is going to look like it's going to go into it. Now, I have a lot of gold. I think I can get away with a bit of gold in this and a bit of gold in the last part. So I'm just going to put a spot of gold in here. Again, I think if I have puddles and not just strings, I feel like I can create more of a, almost look like petals coming up, right? And this has the silicone in it. Little heat. Will this is the tricky part. I feel like I need to blow it. I'm getting nervous if I try to swipe it, will I screw this up? Well, now that I've already done one, do that left-handed. And then what I thought I was going to do is take this orange. Look how dark that's gotten. The ginger peach has really gotten dark. I'm going to take some of this color and pour them across the top like it was a Dutch pour thing. I will add more of the whatever I've got left of this cyan. It's such a pretty color. It'll blow up really beautifully up there. And let's get some of this cotton candy in here. That's going to be really pretty, blown up into that. And then we're going to add some gold. And the dancing fuchsia. Remember this color? That is going to be one gorgeous color. And then what I got left on the Perry Bell, I'll pull some of this from the bottom. I know I can't see any comments. If you get anybody saying anything, you know, I can't see a word you're saying because I'm not looking. I'm standing just like doing the color now, guys. I'm just dribbling everything on so it's completely covered with color and there's enough to blow up. This is about the same amount of paint I used for both tiles yesterday. It's the same amount of resin. So it should work. And then we'll put, last but not least, that gold we know that's got the silicone in it. I'm going to run the same pattern as that dancing fuchsia. And this time we're going to let the blow dryer do its thing because it did such a beautiful job yesterday. But the top is a little more subtle. Okay, let's get a bit of heat. And I am going to have to do this sideways in order to blow this. Okay. Come on, baby, get out of there. In order to do this right, This is crazy looking. Now, I know some of it's off the camera for you guys right now, so let me see if I can get this fixed. Okay, now what I did yesterday, I'm going to have to tilt them up. So I need to tilt. I wish I could tilt them both at the exact same time. I'm going to tilt this up slightly, just so the color runs down. God, be careful, Leslie. Just so the color runs down. My God, that looks like coral. Can you guys see that? Dear Lord, that looks like a coral fan. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this one up slightly so we can get the color to run down just a little bit. Just so the color's all the way to the bottom. Okay, wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know I say that a lot, but oh my God. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? This is insane. And the fact that it's not giving me pitting on a tile, this is going to be so pretty side by side mounted. You beat me to the what? Who said I beat him to something? I beat him to something? Thank you, sweetheart. Well, I've been fumbling around with this concept in my mind. And when it was just an accident that day, and I went, well, I'm going to put a little bit of color in the corner over here so it looks complete. I'm just kind of touching it up while I'm sitting down looking at this. Dumbfounded, to be honest. I'm completely, totally dumbfounded. Pleasantly surprised. There's not enough left over for me to do another piece. So you got a double whammy from me all at once. Again, thank you. Love the dribble. Love the dribble again. Yeah, well, shoot. I mean, again, do you see over here where it kind of looks like it's almost like a fan of coral? The silicone is creating these patterns. It really looks like coral. Let me get both my gloves off because I gotta get unsticky here, and then I'll put my camera down so I can say hi to you guys. So actually, we'll see how much you're gonna get to see. What could you do? What do you mean, what could I do with all my products? What is she talking about? What do you mean, what could I do with all my products? Scrape my edges. What do you mean? Scrape my edges. What do you mean? What does she mean, scrape my edges? Actually, what I'm going to do, and I might as well fuddle in front of you guys doing it. It's going to be tricky. I don't know what she means by scraping my edges, but what I'm going to do is this is going to go on top of, please don't drop this, here. And then this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have you watch me do this. I'm going to pick this up and put this on top of here. Okay. And I'm not sure what you're asking, Eve, but if this helps to stop whatever you were worried about, let's hope. God, I got more epoxy on me. That's the only thing. It's a super, yeah. Well, and she's right. I don't know how perfectly level this is. The good thing with tiles, only so much paint stays on. So there's very little to run. I do have a level thing I bought on Etsy. I know Fearing Art, my mother, I think both of us bought one. There's a guy on Etsy that sells this, him and his wife sells this thing that looks like a cutting board that he has. Sorry, I'm cleaning up my tools while we're watching this kind of setup and I'm talking. It's a cutting board that looks like a, you know, milky plastic chopping block, like what you cut your vegetables on. And it has little feet. And then he mounted levels on two sides. So you can literally, well, no matter if your house is unlevel, your table's unlevel, you can still level your surface. The drips over the sides, well, they're gonna be dripping. I can't do anything about drips. But because it's a tile, let me see what Evelyn says. If you wipe away the resin on the outside edges, you mean just scrape them like with my little tool here? I'm just gonna kind of scrape underneath it. Let's see the drips. Yeah, I see the drips. So if I can keep them from doing, I'm sort of taking the drips off with my little thingy. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, because yesterday I wasn't so worried about the pattern. Today I want it to look like that crazy coral, right? And so we do want to keep the shape of our design. Right. But I thought she meant, and I did mean to put them up. I knew that it was not sustainable to leave it on the silicone. I had these 2 cans ready. Oh my God. I will. I'll come back in 30. But look at the puddle that's forming here. The colors that are coming off. I want to do something with those skins. Anyway, guys. Who's so many OCD over here, including me? I love it. That's all right. I got my family here guiding me underneath the tile so that resin doesn't get pulled off so much. Yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be playing with the drips. But now it's not dripping right now, but you're right. I'll come back and check to set my timer, maybe set it for every 15 minutes and just check for drips. Yeah, here we go. We got some drips coming now. And I can take my little handy dandy tool. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we got a few days left of the membership drive. The Purely Pigment set should be shipping a week from today, set 3. And then I'm just, since we just got a huge load of color and a giant load of jars is coming up on Monday, don't be surprised. As soon as set 3 is going in motion, probably a week from then, I'm going to have the fluorescents ready, and I'll have Shane start to make them before we even make the announcement. That way you can guys get that. Doesn't it? Oh, Judy. Okay, one thing you didn't see was the dried results because you came in late. Okay, I'm going to show you dried results in front of my thingy. No pits anywhere. It has to be the tile. I mean, I want to try this on a canvas or a cradle board, but this piece dried so beautifully, guys. That's why I did it again today. But I said, okay, the blue moon's too dark. All that beautiful lacing got hidden kind of in that dark blue moon. So I wanted the top just a very pale lavender, right? Well, then, I don't know. All I know is microlubral, 200 matters, the 200 weight matters, and so does the viscosity, because silicone oils are not all the same. I don't know if this is the magic formula or the magic racket. All I know is this is what I used with art resin on tile. That's what we know so far. And so far, it's working. And this is opening up a whole new world for me, because I'm getting my confidence playing with epoxy fairy art, Mother. She's seen me since the very beginning, the first time I picked it up. Thank you, Evelyn. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, Michelle D. Thank you, Hope Bryant. Kathleen McGee, it was great to see you. Casey, I'm so glad you could join us. Bram Stair, I'm glad you came back. Yes, everybody's telling me what to do, but that's okay. That's kind of the cool part of the live. I mean, I've literally said, oh no, what do I do? And then I'll wait and hear what you guys say. That's the beauty of the live. It's uncensored, it's a real, even with kitties included. Have a beautiful day. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remember, it's 2 hours earlier. So I'll see you tomorrow on Saturday. Bye, guys. Hugs and kisses.